Welcome back, dear friends. I'm in seventh heaven here. It's wonderful. I've got so many things going on all at once. Firstly, I've got some new things to trip over, some boxes. My daughter got a nice chair, an office chair for her room, and that is a beautiful box. Look at that, double thickness, beautifully constructed, so I can't throw that away. Save that for a rainy day, possibly not right in the middle of the workshop. I've got another 300 of the large bubble wrap bags for the next 30 Nempnett Thrubwell kits. You try saying that without your teeth in. I can't remember whether I mentioned it, but I'm making another 30 Nempnett Thrubwell kits, kitchen timer kits, because I'm down to 2 of them, and in the past I've always made 20. But having spent so long getting the Automaton kit designed, tested, developed, and all the instructions made, it has been an absolute joy. Just but 30 of things, look. 30 flickering lamps with wires soldered on in little plastic enclosures, 30 batteries, 30 wooden knobs with bits glued on the bottom, drilled out, 30 pots of glue. You get the picture. Oh, it's lovely. So I'm surrounded by all this loveliness. And this time, I thought I'd 3D print the adapter, the pump adapter, that allows the nozzle on the pump to fit into, airtight obviously, to fit into the end of a piece of 15mm copper. Now in the past I've cut them out of 10mm acrylic and then tried, because all the pumps seem to have different size nozzles, and because the acrylic's rigid I have to get it just right and it doesn't quite fit all sorts. So this time, just 3D print them. So after the normal much experimentation, I finally managed to find the right size, and it's that, and that pushes on beautifully. So I've just glued those in. Very pleased with that. And unfortunately, these are the 27 or 17 or something new pumps, and these are the ones that I wanted to use up, and they're slightly different. So the noise in the background is the beautiful 3D printer printing the first 2, because I found if you print them next to each other, the holes end up the size you want. If you print one at a time, they don't, they sort of close up. Interesting. The laser cutter's having a little rest, having spent many a happy hour engraving all the next 30 laser engraved labels and things, but not resting for long, because I've got another load of gears, the 3rd gear in the gear train. I've done the first lot and I'm absolutely thrilled. Those of you who follow this channel, thank you to your patience of a saint, will know that I have had regularly over the years tons of problems with dust. However carefully I set that up and put the dust extractor that blows lovely clean air over, whatever I've tried, about a quarter of everything I paint ends up with dust, until I bought the conductive Hoover head. You can't beat a conductive Hoover head. I am absolutely thrilled. I know I've mentioned it before. It's got a resistance, all the bristles, the plastic, everything, of about, I think it was 38k, which is very, very low. And that's great, and I've sort of earthed that to the mains earth. And I went over all of these first and the cardboard, put them down, and everyone is perfect. I'm not going to have to find and pick out some of them and re-sand them and re-spray them. Oh, that makes me so happy. These all had their 8 coats of paint, so that's nice and ready to pack up. Then we come on to an issue that I have had regularly, actually increasingly regularly, each time I make a batch of these kits. The suppliers that I use obviously get their components and whatever from different manufacturers, and they keep changing, and the manufacturers keep getting sloppy, low quality. For example, here's one of the 1 ounce sealable pots that I use to put the wood stain in, and it clicks perfectly. It seals it, doesn't spring open or anything else, and I stick all these labels on. But I ran out, so I ordered from the same supplier another lot, and they sent me, these aren't those because I've sent them back subsequently, all advertised the same, but they wouldn't actually click shut. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're all distorted. They're made out of plastic that was too thin, all distorted, and they just spring open. It's ridiculous, I tell you. It's things like that. Or indeed, the circuit. Because if you watch this channel regularly, I think I mentioned that the breadboards I'd been using for years suddenly didn't grip. Not all the pins, most of the pins would grip perfectly, because the smallest component is a capacitor with legs that are 0.4 millimeters diameter. They would grip 0.45 millimeters, but that extra 0.05 millimeters made all the difference, and they wouldn't actually touch it. You could push them in and lift it out on about 10 of the connections on each of the boards. I'm so pleased I checked, because I had this problem before. Thankfully, I just put together another 20 kits. I'd sold one or two, and then someone ordered a ready-made one, so I could, quality control, so important. Then I realised that they weren't working properly, so I had to send other bits and pieces to the other two customers. Thankfully, no more than two. So this time I ordered another lot and said, please only send me ones that you've checked will grip 0.4 millimeters wide, and they said, well, sorry, we can't really do that, but these are the ones we haven't had any complaints. So here's another 30, and here they are. And I tried them with a small capacitor. In fact, let me get one. There we are. It's a little capacitor, and you can see that's okay. That's me test. It'll actually pick it up. But the third one along, I can't see what I'm doing here. Here we are. Look. That is completely loose. You'd be lucky if that made any connection at all, so that's useless. So I sent them an email yesterday saying they are useless. Again, I want my money refunded, and they said, thanks very much for letting us know, we will stop selling them, chuck them in the bin and we'll refund you. So that was nice of them. So I immediately ordered a more expensive version from them, and they arrived this very morrow. The thing is, they're slightly bigger. The circuit, slightly smaller than the crap ones. So I'm now redesigning these circuit layouts to make sure they all fit and all line up. And I'm just cutting them out on the guillotine. And that's just, nice film on doing this. And I can fiddle around with the new adapters once the first two are finished. Oh, it's such fun. Well, I forgot to say, I don't want to throw these breadboards away. They grip any normal component legs that are 0.45 millimeters or larger perfectly, all of them, all the holes. So if anyone wants them just for the price of the postage, do let me know. I'll send them off to you. Just be aware, don't use them with really thin 0.4 millimeter legs. It'd be nice if they could find a good home though. And then this morning, this box arrived in the post. It weighs a ton, and it is just full of copper. Oh, lovely, lovely plumbing fittings. And because the plumbers merchants hadn't got some copper pipe that I needed, they're going to send it next week, they even included a bag of sweeties in with all the plumbing fittings. It's just so lovely to open all those plumbing fittings, then find a bag of sweeties. Lovely. I have to say, this is a very happy, friendly room. I'm just surrounded by lots and lots of interesting things all on the go. It's great. And it's not raining again, which is even greater. I'm going to take the dog out. She's not in the extension. The workshop, she's here. Oh, Ziggy with the waggly tail. Oh, look at her. Oh, beautiful. Oh, she does like a nice tummy scratch. Oh, bless her. During the meanwhilest, it's printed. So this is for the 4.5 millimeter nozzles on the pumps. So here we are. It's such a joy, I thought I'd share it with you. So this is what we've got, and I saved it because I know this centerpiece, whatever diameter that is the right one when it translates. Now that was a bit steep, I found. It didn't have to go in so much, so what I can do is I can stretch that down, something like that possibly, It's still the same diameter, or in effect width, rather than diameter, it's width and depth and things. Then we can go to edit, and we can go to split, and that'll snap to the middle. We can check it's in the middle, it is. So now we've got that right and that right, we can then go to subtract. There we are, we've got a hole through with a little bevel at the top. And then we go to edit, subtract, and unselect everything, edit, subtract. There we are, that'll remind me. Now I could emboss the text on the top here, but that would stick up, and I don't want anything sticking up. Here's the slicer. Let's put in the load model file, 4.5. That's what we want, lovely, and it tells me it's going to take 28 minutes and use 0.97 meters. I've got down here, these are the idiot numbers and things. It's very useful actually. 0.1 means it's the lower height, so that's standard quality, and other things. The only things I ever change really are whether I want it to have a raft to support it, which I do, because otherwise these could not stick to the base and drift off. It'll start printing it. Oh, the unequal end feed 15 fittings that go on the side to support the flickering lamp on the top and support the air pump below that. So these are ones I had left over from last time, and here's 20 I ordered, new ones, and they look identical, don't they, dear friends? You could swear they're identical. In fact, that is 0.5 millimeter shorter, lower, which I can live with. That's okay. The problem comes because these ones are 17.2 millimeters outside diameter. This is where I really can't complain, because the middle bits that plumbers need are 15 millimeters. So the outside is 17.2 on that one and 16.5 on that one. Now that doesn't sound like a lot. What's 0.7 millimeters between friends? Well, that's a start. I've written the diameter on the packages, and this one's got a bit of tape, and that one's got a bit of tape. Oh, another jig, I hear cry. Yes, this is a handy jig. Because you get these, some of them are actually longer than others. I need to have one of those and another, oh hang on, and one of these. That's right, to go on me little pre-cut piece of 28mm pipe. So that's going in there because I need that to be long enough to hide the pump, so that the end will fit into this part of the jig. I'll see if I can get it lined up, but you can see here, look, this is the 17 one, and it just pushes firmly in that hole, which is great because then you can glue it in with super glue. Whereas this one, that's just too loose. That's like a 0.5 mil or more, and that's not going to fix it. So for the smaller ones, I'm going to have to change the size of the holes on the laser cutting things. That's what we want, you see, because then the pump's hidden inside. And I've got a jig because I need to glue these bits into those bits, or those bits, I can't remember, because they've got to be aligned properly so everything fits. And I've got two jigs that I can decide which one I need to use for that particular bit, and those particular pumps. Let's get that sorted out, and I can sit here and glue things together, which I like. Lovely, we have 3mm gears cut out. Smaller than I thought, so I managed to get most of them, 25 of them, so I can fit the other 5 in somewhere else near there. But best of all at the moment is I found I had ordered 30 of these ones, so I know they're all the same. I've cut these. Here's the jig, so you put that in there, you put a little bit of super glue around the end of that, and then you sit that on top and let it set, and then pick it out and do the next one 30 times. I like that sort of thing. I'm just about to start cutting out the wooden parts, all the wooden bits for 2 kits on each sheet, arranged like this, which means I need the laser to stay in focus all the way over, because if it goes out of focus by 1 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, 2 millimeters, whatever, it doesn't cut properly or engrave properly. Now the other week, dear friends, and in fact for some time, it may have been years, I noticed I had to keep putting the power up higher than I expected it to be on the laser, so it would cut right the way across. And then last week I got a ruler and I opened up the bottom of the laser cutter. And this is what I found inside. This is how the bed of the machine is moved up and down. There's one of these lead screws on each corner, all linked together with a timing belt, rubber belt, to a big stepper motor. Now that's lovely. So I got a ruler, and from the bottom, which is solid, to these parts, I've measured each one and found that this was about 2 mil that was 1 millimetre out. So I adjusted them as best I could by slackening everything off and fiddling around. Got it all level with regard to the base. But I was just checking, getting this first bit of wood lined up, ready, focusing it on this end with my little focusing jig, that's it, and a little bit of plastic, and I thought I'd just check. It's 1 millimetre out there and 2 millimetre out there. That's so frustrating. What it must be, hopefully, something absolutely insane, is that the whole of the cabinet, the laser cabinet, isn't quite square. I'm going to go and measure each corner from there to the material, top of the material. So here are the results. That is naught datum. This one is minus 0.3 millimetres, which in effect is 3 pieces of paper. I'm using the paper measuring technique. Minus 0.4, one business card. And this one, minus 0.6, would you Adam and Eve it? That's one business card and 2 pieces of paper. Actually, there's a far better idea. Here's the, what do you call it? The thing with all the holes in it. Can't remember. I'm just going to rest it, because it just sits into here and rests on these 4 bars. So I'm just going to put my spacers and bits of card on each corner and then just sit that down and we'll give it a go. I think that's much easier. I knew it had something to do with bees, I think beehive, honeycomb, that's it. And I've sat that back in, pushed it down really firmly, and found that at this end I still need 2 extra pieces of business card. So, oh, my brain is a muscle. I'm trying to work out all the relative bits and pieces. It just doesn't make any sense. The only thing it can be is that this beehive thing, honeycomb thing, is not parallel, but it has to be because it's made from extruded pieces of aluminium. Very odd. Proof of the pudding and all that, so I have now mounted this, fixed a piece of wood on and checked each corner, and it does now line up. I don't know why there are all those differences and things, but never mind. Let's see whether it'll actually work and cut properly. And I can sit back down and resume deburring lots and lots of copper pipes. I got a new blade for the deburrer as well. Oh, it's an absolute joy. I do love it. It's one of my favourite tools because it turns what could be really quite an unpleasant job into an absolute joy. Right, let's get on with that. I think I deserve some more sweeties for the plumbers merchants, because 15mm by 8mm compression reducing coupler, they have sent me 35 10 by 8, not 15 by 8. To get in touch with them and get them taken back or something. It's Monday and I heard back from the plumbers merchants. Really good, very efficient. They're going to send me the correct parts. Hopefully some more sweeties. They are direct plumbing supplies in the UK. As always, no affiliation. I've also started packing up parts of the kits. It's so nice to start packing everything up and combining everything, because it means I'll gain a little bit of space, basically. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you next time. And remember, the Automaton Head can be found on my website, and all the other stuff I make can be found on my Etsy shop. I'll put links in the description. Thanks again.